let's watch the video here real quick, and then we'll kind of go over some of my notes on what I've been able to gather from the Discord, both from Dan himself and just kind of what people are talking about, and we'll go from there. So let's check it out.
Hey everyone, my name is Dan, aka A-Drive, and I'm so excited to share with you my new project, Alestrals. Alestrals are mythical and magical creatures set in a time before ours with unique characteristics and elemental powers. As you've seen from our little trailer, we're building the ECG, or Alestrals card game. I hope that one day these Alestrals can make it onto your favorite video game or mobile console as well, as our teams are working hard to model and animate each one of these Alestrals for the future. But I personally have had a deep passion for card games since I was a kid, and I started Alestrals to recapture that feeling and share it with you all. We have a team of more than 30 people working incredibly hard behind the scenes, and I'm so proud to say that we've actually entered our third round of playtesting with over 100 unique cards, getting ready for our Kickstarter launch in November. We've done all of the hard work to make this an incredible game for both casual and competitive play. We just need your help. When you choose to back us on Kickstarter in November, you'll be backing a project that's ready to produce and ready to share with the world. As I said, I'm incredibly excited to share with you all the amazing Alestral creatures that we've made and an amazing card game that we put together. This is an opportunity to not just be a part of our journey, but actually be involved in the decisions we make moving forward in building the Alestrals franchise. In the description, you'll find a series of links to our various Alestral social media pages, and I encourage you to check them out and be sure to follow, because I'm actually giving away 5 copies of the Taratless prototype graded card by my grading company, The Grading Authority. By simply following us on those 5 social media pages, you'll have an opportunity.
Oh yeah, by the way, he also has his own grading company. Like, this guy's been doing a ton of stuff in relation to... Oh, that's an awkward pause. Sorry, Dan.
Opportunity to...
There we go. But yeah, just been doing a lot of stuff around Pokemon. I mean, just look at the background here. I mean, he's got a bunch of booster boxes. I've watched a lot of his Wizards TCG stuff for the old school Pokemon boxes, and yeah, he started his own grading card company. Unfortunately, I kind of already sent all my stuff in to CGC before he kind of had his up and running, or at least before I knew about it. So I don't have anything graded through him, but if I get some pristine looking celestial cards, or sorry, Celestial cards, I'm gonna have to get that right. Celestial cards, then I definitely want to get them graded through that, because that'd be really cool. The CCG that he developed, graded by his company, like, that'd be awesome.
To win one of these amazing graded Alestrals Taratless cards, which will surely be something you want to have in your collection.
Sign them, Dan.
For weekly
Sign them.
And more as we head towards our Kickstarter launch. Genuinely, thank you so much for your guys' support. I started this as a passion project, and it has been a dream come true to put this together. I can't wait to show you guys more.
So I just wanted to kind of go through and break down what it is that we've seen so far, at least kind of the more important information. There is more information than this that has been let out, but this was kind of the stuff that I looked at and was like, okay, cool, this is awesome to know, because you know, we live in a world where there is such a thing as stupid questions, and some stupid questions were asked, so I will keep you guys from having to deal with that. But here's kind of what we know so far. So if it wasn't clear in the announcement, Alestrals is not a video game. Though they have like this kind of 3-day in-game looking render, this is just for promotional use. It is a tabletop trading card slash collector card game. It is intended as a physical copy. That's what the Kickstarter is going to be giving. By the way, there's a Kickstarter. I'll get into details on that as well. It's not out yet, so before you go typing away, I guess depending on when you're seeing this video, it's not out currently at the beginning of August. Now, personally, as it pertains to it just being a tabletop physical card game at the moment, based on kind of my experience in consuming A Drive's content, I would not be surprised if in the back of his mind, lingering back there somewhere, he's like, I want to make this a game. Um, he's had projects before in the past as far as actually being a part of like the development of a Pokemon like game. And I would not be surprised him wanting to take this IP and run with it in every single facet it can possibly go. Now, obviously, we have to hope that he makes, good business decisions moving forward with that. But I kind of like the direction that they're going so far. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But as it is right now, it is just a physical card game. But for me as a collector, as you can see behind me, that's almost even more exciting than an actual game. So I think he mentioned it. He mentioned that they are getting into their third round of playtesting. And according to the Discord, they have 30 plus people working on this project. Now, he didn't go into detail as far as like, how many of them are playtesters versus how many of them are artists versus how many of them are actually like kind of developing the game from like a rules standpoint. But what we know so far is that there's about 30 people behind the project in one way, shape, or form. The English version is the only version that's going to be printed right now. And I would kind of assume that that's probably for the foreseeable future. I think they would have to blow up pretty big for them to start looking into other printing in other languages. Kind of just from a business standpoint, I feel like it would make a lot more sense to just kind of keep it, all English. We also know that it's going to be about 125 cards, which is actually fairly considerable for a new card game, and not considerable from the side of like, because other ones have released that have had more on the initial release, but this set, also based off of some information that was talked about, is that they have wanted to make it to where every single card is like usable, so that you don't just have like dead cards in booster packs. Like every card has a purpose. Maybe it doesn't have a purpose for you in the deck that you want to use, but it has a purpose somewhere within the CCG. Now, best news for me personally as a collector, holo pattern versions. Actually, this is second biggest news, but this plays into the biggest news. Holo patterns are confirmed. Not only are holo patterns confirmed, but let me find the actual quote here, is that cards that are really, emphasis on really, rare will have not as rare versions. So that alone is great for the competitive side of the CG, right? That's great for people who just want to play the game and not necessarily want to worry about the collector aspect, like myself. I'm a collector first, then a player. The fun chat is on YouTube, by the way. Yep. So collector first. I want to get the really rare stuff. Player second. I don't want a deck to be limited by like a 1 in 10,000 chance of getting a card. So that is a fantastic move by the Illustrials team. A fucking plus for that one. Along with that, this is really cool as a collector. Really cool as a collector. But the ones that are really, again, emphasis on really, rare will legit be stupid rare. Only 5 to 100 copies ever printed. So not only do we have like something that is rare in the terms of like, I think like Holo Charizard back in the day, or alternate art Rayquaza V from, behind me. I'm trying not to look. I'm looking. Evolving Skies. Like that conceptually is really rare. But having something like this to where, I mean, I would love for them to have something on there where it literally says like 5 out of 50 or 5 out of 100 and actually shows what number it is that you have. and make it extremely rare and just amazing for the people who love that kind of hunt. And then people, even if people aren't like trying to experience that kind of hunt, it's just a fun experience to have. Like, I don't know how many people have really experienced kind of opening their first or a couple of boosters of like any kind of TCG or CCG. It is so much fun to have something appear that you did not even realize how rare it was. And then like you get something, it looks awesome, you look it up, you look into it, and then it's like, holy crap, this is actually amazing. And just like that just compounds on top of it. How can we make sure the company doesn't funnel 5 super rares to big content creators for the hype? So I'm not opposed to this personally. Um, what I would want to be the case is I would want it to be that those are content creator only cards and have literally zero value outside of that. And by zero value, I mean um, make a special card for a content creator. You make one of them. Sure, if it's a big enough content creator, maybe he can flip it around and he can sell it for a little bit, but there's not going to be a huge market around it. Not comparatively. Or on the other side of it, um, if it is a, let's say, you know, they only print 100 of them. Well, if they have 5 content creators that kind of work hand in hand with them, not necessarily official content creators for Illustrials, but just kind of, you know, people that A Drive, you know, talks to regularly. I mean, he's got his group of boys that are content creators. Um, you know, give them 5 extra that are maybe not numbered and so don't have kind of like the additional rarity to them, or maybe they get like some kind of like promotional stamp on them as opposed to a numbered stamp. um but I think that's how you should, me personally, how you kind of go about that. You want the exclusivity to be tied to the people who are paying into what you're like producing, not to the people who you're just handing it to. I understand hype, I understand marketing, I get why something like that needs to be done, but there are ways to go about that that still achieve that marketing goal without fucking over the people who are actually paying to experience your game. So, as far as we know about like gameplay rules, anything like that, we don't know yet. By yet, it has been confirmed that there is a playable game. So we can assume that those things are there. Now, if they're not, come Kickstarter, I'm pulling the ripcord. I won't be backing it. It's not something that I would want to put money or even content creator energy into if they can't even have a simple rule set. But I think that they do, to be clear. But that would be a huge red flag if they did. Kind of my impression of A Drive as a content creator. I think that's something that's kind of important here is a lot of Kickstarters I personally have been extremely hesitant in backing. The only Kickstarter I have ever backed is Ashes of Creation. I do not back Kickstarters that I do not feel like I can trust. If Ashes of Creation is a scam, then I'm going to be scammed, and I deserve to be scammed. And honestly, it's probably the best scam I have ever seen, um, because I've actually played the game. Oh, if it's a scam, like, then it's a really good scam. Um, but one thing that you don't typically see from Kickstarters is people who have a reputation already established. And Dan does. Love him or hate him, Dan has established himself not only as a content creator, a good content creator, but during a time in YouTube and Twitch content creating where you had to grind your ass off. Like, he has been doing this for a couple of years now and started off in the time of like he didn't blow up overnight with like a viral video or anything like that. So he has kind of clawed his way through the ranks of content creator at a time where it was actually very difficult to do so. And he just hit 1 million subscribers literally last week. So from that aspect, unless he is just cashing the F out and he's like, I'm going to put this out there, I'm going to make bank, and then I'm going to run, which I don't think is what's happening. But there's always a possibility. Nothing is ever 100% guaranteed. Unless he's doing that, to me, he has a lot on the line here with his reputation because he has spent literal years in developing that. So, from that aspect, the same way that I was comfortable with backing Intrepid, because I didn't back Ashes for the sake of Ashes, I backed Ashes for the people who were behind it. It's the same reason why I feel comfortable in backing Illustrials, knowing jack about it because of who it is behind it. I 100% will allow myself to be scammed based on my impression of somebody's my impression of somebody's reputation. And I think that Dan cares about his reputation. So to me, this might not be the best bet, but I feel like it is safer than most Kickstarters. My opinion. Random dude on the internet, random bald bearded ginger. But for me personally, I've been watching his content for a while. I wouldn't go as far to say I feel like I could trust the guy. I just feel like I can trust his Kickstarter more so than other ones that I've said hell no to. So another thing here is just kind of a quick note here. The Illustrials team has already started work on the second set, with A-Drive stating that it'll be more like Pokemon, but not as frequent. And he has a hope, if the game is a success, that they will do 3 sets a year. So this right here is a really good sign to me that they are not wanting to create a one-off like we were talking about, CCG, and then bounce. Because granted, it's just words, but they have future plans to take the IP like well past a Kickstarter. So another question that was asked about the possibility of an online component. Now, I think this is a great idea. I still definitely want the physical side, again, physical collector here. But I definitely like the idea of online capability. Please do make it better than the Pokemon desktop app. That thing is really annoying. It is not great, IMO. I really hope that it's something more akin to Hearthstone, and you can even take that to the next level. It doesn't need to be overly pretty, but as far as like connectivity to other players, different stuff like that, that would be fantastic. Awesome. That'd be a great move. And it's also something that I could stream really easily and, beat Fane over and over and over again because he's trash. But basically that he responded to it by basically saying that it's something that he would like to do, but they don't really have plans on it right now. He's going to look into it. But he also did mention that they are looking at utilizing Tabletop Simulator to kind of get it into more people's hands. So on the note of the online component, and there's something key in here that I want to get across. He said, unfortunately, these things cost money, and I'm funding this entirely myself. So until Kickstarter, I am just investing money in hopes people like the project. So that to me is huge, because not only is he trying to put a product out, but he's putting his money where his mouth is. This isn't some endorsement like, hey, A-Drive, can you put your face all over this and say you created this when in reality you didn't? This to me is his baby, his project, and when it's somebody's blood, sweat, and tears going into something, then they don't want it to fail. So again, another reason why I'm probably sound like I'm simping for the dude, but I have high hopes for this project. Getting into the Kickstarter, I'm just gonna kind of read this verbatim here a little bit because there's kind of a lot of information here. A-Drive mentioned that they would be taking the IP to Kickstarter in November. Through some community Q&A, A-Drive stated that starter decks and booster boxes will be the primary focus of the Kickstarter. Then kind of talking about timeline stuff and distribution. He said, being honest, Kickstarter's in November, so fulfillment will likely take 4 to 6 months. During that time, they will start the second print run as well. So to be clear, I understand that as the second print of the first set, not that the second set is going to be printed. Just to clarify that right there, I do not see them releasing the second set that quickly. I mean, just kind of closing it out here. I mean, I know this video for people who are watching watching on YouTube here. It's a little bit more sporadic. I wanted to kind of integrate chat into this because I kind of wanted to see what people had to say about it. And I mean, obviously we got some memers in here, but you know, just kind of wanting to bounce this off of people a little bit. I tried to do a scripted video for this. I got about 10 minutes into it and I was like, this is trash. Like, I need to freeform this. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, join the Bearded Bastards community, and make sure you smash that like button. I appreciate you guys stopping in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.